Welcome to The Female Voice, the show where we champion amazing women with amazing stories, female business owners, and women within the finance industry. This week, I am super excited to have Rowena Wilding with me. I have followed Rowena on social media for around about the last 18 months. We were introduced at a women's networking event down in Bath. And since then, I have really enjoyed seeing her feed light up with amazing content, amazing photographs, real life stories, and it's just so inspiring. So I'm super, super grateful that she agreed to join me today. Thank you very much, Rowena.
It's so wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a quick peek at your LinkedIn profile earlier on today. So you describe yourself as marketing, strategy, mom, unapologetic truth leader. That's a very impactful LinkedIn opening statement.
Where's the lie? Point to the lie. Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the beautiful things about being a woman in business is that we contain multitudes, right? None of us is just wearing one hat. Every
Yeah.
single one of us is juggling so many things, so many talents, so many skills, so many responsibilities. And we do it with grace and poise, and we learn from it and we evolve through it. And it is what makes our businesses so incredibly robust. So yes, that's absolutely right. Marketing is my passion. It's been my passion for uh, um over 2 decades now, which unfortunately does give away my age just a little bit. I have been a generalist pretty much from day one, and whilst I fully endorse the need for specialists and the move that we are seeing towards specialists being more and more appreciated, for me, the joy of having almost been brought up as a generalist is that ability to have a strategic overview, which is why strategy is so core to the way I deliver marketing. Yes, I'm a mum of three, and it is the thing that makes me what I am. It gives me empathy, it gives me patience, it gives me the ability to deal with clients acting like 2-year-olds. My children have taught me more about the world, about business, and about myself than literally anything else I've done in life. And yeah, I am an I believe an unapologetic truth teller. I am autistic, which makes it very difficult for me to put any kind of filter over the things that I'm saying. So truth does seem to be the core of what I do always, even as a mum. Some people think I'm a really horrible mum because my kids are the ones that know that there is no Santa and have always known that there is no Santa. I pledged from day one to never lie to them. To this point, I haven't broken that pledge. And I bring that same honesty to everything that I do, to marketing and to the way that I view the world. I won't bite my tongue when I view injustice. I won't bite my tongue when I see things happening that I don't think are right. And I will hold a mirror up to behaviours that I think are unacceptable.
Amazing. Do you find that you get pushback from the unapologetic truths sometimes?
I think if I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it very well. I think that being radically honest, it's a brave thing to do, but it's also quite a vain thing to do. The thing about being an unapologetic truth teller is that you really have to know where you stand on things. You really have to do your research. You really have to believe the thing that you're saying. One of the most important things that you can get comfortable, or that you have to get comfortable with saying when you are somebody who champions the truth, is the phrase, "I don't know." And I think it's the scariest thing that we can say. Again, especially as women, because we are always expected to have the answers and to fix the problems. So yeah, saying I don't know is a really vulnerable and scary thing to do. But I think because of my background, because of my upbringing, because of my education, research and really knowing the thing that I do and the things that I'm talking about has been really important to me always. And I think that we live in an age where those credentials are ignored an awful lot of the time. We live in the age of the populace. We live in the age of the social media truth. We live in the age of fucking Facebook, where nothing is verified. And so, yeah, I do get a lot of pushback on being a truth teller. And I think more in the past 5 years since COVID than ever before. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It does mean that you have to get really comfortable with not being popular.
I have, we've both experienced that online. I tend to get a lot more pushback from men
Huh.
in public on social
Shocking.
media. What a revelation. I know.
Yeah.
I know. But it used to really bother me. Like
Uh-huh.
when I first started being much more vocal about equality and diversity
Uh-huh.
and inclusion, it used to really bother me. Like, why having a go at me in public? Like, and I used to get really upset with it. But now I'm like, yeah, you carry on, because all that you're doing is showing the world that you don't understand everything that women in
Sure.
business have to go through, don't understand the challenges, don't understand the need for equality, the impact it has across every aspect of life,
Mm.
of women having a seat at the table, women being treated the same, whether it's Black women, different minorities, women with spectrum disorders, like every aspect of female. I mean, we're 51% of the population. We should
Mhm.
at least have equal. But having said you've got autism and you've got that additional kind of
Yep.
layer, it must be 10 times harder to try and navigate through a world where everyone's so judgmental.
So here's the thing, I will say there is a status quo for a reason. There's a status quo because a status quo gives power. It gives power to a very particular group, and that group gets to draw on the status quo and use it in essence for control. Now, the version of the status quo you're talking about there is, of course, as we all know, the patriarchy. We have built civilizations on the basis of the patriarchy. You know, this concept that men and women have different roles, and that the role of women is in their eyes lesser, that men control things, that men do the work, that what men do is important and what women do is not. It's soft and it's fluffy. That status quo obviously gives power to men who, because we have built civilizations the way that we have, already have power and therefore don't want to give it up. So breaking a status quo is extremely difficult because it's literally there to hold up the system that gives power to the people, or keeps power in the control of the people who already have it. So yeah, that is absolutely the reason why anytime we stand up and tell the truth and hold a mirror up to society and try and talk about equity and try and talk about inclusion, we get that kind of pushback, because in reality, the people who have the power believe that anytime that power is eroded in any way, that they are being disadvantaged. And I suppose in a way they are. If you are in a position where you have absolute control, why on earth would you want to give that up? I think that one of the mistakes that I make, is forgetting to show people, especially in the situation of the patriarchy, how that status quo hurts them as much as it hurts us, because it does, right? It does. I think the mining guy is such a fucking brilliant example. You're right. And I think funnily enough, a lot of the people who push back are people who don't even realize that the status quo had to be eroded and changed in order for them to gain the sort of control and power that they have. The men who push back the most are working class men. The men who struggle with these concepts the most are the ones who didn't have the vote themselves because they were considered lower, working class, uneducated, right? So actually, they don't even realize that the level of privilege that they now have was hard fought for and won very, very recently. I'm going to give you another example. Actually, an awful lot of the pushback that I get is not from men, it's from women. And the very specific example I can give is as a member of the LGBTQ community, obviously I've been very, very vocal around trans rights and the erosion of trans rights in society at large at the moment. 90% of the pushback that I have gotten has been from trans exclusionary radical feminists. So women who believe that trans people don't deserve the same rights as women, that shouldn't be treated as women, that they are men dressing up, playing a game. Some of them believe that's in order to trap them or hurt them. Some of them talk about their safety. Many of them are simply scared, scared of the unknown, scared of difference. And again, there we see a situation where women have fought hard for the rights that they have. Women are still fighting hard for equity, and they believe that inclusion for trans people erodes their equity, erodes their rights. They don't actually see that the reality is that inclusion for trans people means more rights for women. It's actually better for women if we work together to ensure more inclusion, to ensure more access, to ensure, better safety protections. The argument is always, oh, well, the safety of women, the safety of women, the safety of women. But again, when we look at the stats, we can see that, 97% of violent crimes against women are perpetuated by white men. It's not
Yeah.
trans people, it's not trans people, it's not black people. We have fears of difference and we create narratives. It's not about resources, it's about looking at somebody who's different from you and being scared that them having rights erodes your rights. Now, I'm aware I just spoke for a very, very long time.
No, it's like...
I'm hoping that all of that, the succinct point there is ultimately what we are saying when we are talking about being radical truth tellers. What we are saying is the status quo is harmful. The status quo is not necessarily a good thing. In fact, very often it is a bad thing. All we are trying to do is hold a mirror up to the opinions that uphold harmful status quos to make people try and think about, the way that they move through society, the way that they move through this world and this life that prioritizes empathy and kindness and, truth.
Yeah, exactly. I always say whenever I talk about equality and inclusion, it's never about we trying to take something away from somebody else. It's just you need to be more aware. You need to have maybe a different lens on your outlook on life. Like you need to be aware that things that you say and do can impact other people. They can be hurtful. It can be more severe than just online chit chat and you said this and you said that. It can really impact people's lives.
Absolutely. And while we're on it, like people's rights are being eroded every single day. Our rights are being further and further eroded. But let's look at who's eroding those rights, because it's not immigrants and it's not women and it's not trans people. It's billionaires. And yet we're all 3 paychecks away from being homeless.
Yeah, I did read that. Yeah, it's really such a huge topic. Like literally, you could talk about this all day.
Yeah, we absolutely can. Because, the issues are not other women. The issues are not pushing for equality for trans people. The issues are really genuinely not immigration. The issues stem from the super wealthy owning absolutely everything.
And then as women-led businesses, everybody knows that we're massively underfunded, massively under-resourced, massively under-supported. What are we striving towards?
Yeah.
What's the end goal if all these dreams and aspirations are all being excluded from us? What's the end goal? What's the dream? Where were we all trying to get to with this?
I flipping love that question. And not enough people ask that question. I think people kind of stay in their lane with their blinkers on, going, okay, I just need to get through the next bit and then the next bit and then the next bit. And actually, one of the things as women that I don't think we're taught to do is dream big. I think that men have goals and women have targets. That I find that incredibly frustrating. For me, I wholeheartedly believe that if the majority of wealth in this world was controlled by women, every single problem would disappear. Every single problem, from climate change to conflict to poverty to immigration, I think every single problem would disappear if women controlled the wealth. So my goal is to make as many female millionaires as I possibly can, because women do good things with money. I say this all the time. If anybody has ever kind of read any of my content, they'll have seen this messaging run through my content. Do better things with money than men. Women spend their money in their communities. Women spend their money on their families. Women spend their money on football training and dance lessons for their kids. They invest it in other small businesses. They shop local. They don't offshore it. They don't hoard billions, they go shopping, they pump it back into society. Even those who use it to buy property and get into the kind of property market, which I have, a whole ream of thoughts on, which is a whole other podcast episode. If you compare the portfolios of women and to the portfolios of men, you see time and time and time again affordable rent, fairness in renting contracts. You see flipping for actually, not insane amounts of money. And you see progress being made as opposed to wealth being hoarded. And you see again, over and over again, that money being invested well and into other people and into other projects, as opposed to just being kept in
The way somewhere
a
tax
bank
free.
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. I see. I that's exactly the kind of ethos for my business. Is it's really well documented, and all the data backs up that women do pound for pound return 3 times higher revenues.
Yeah.
They are more likely to employ other women,
Yeah.
specifically parents, because they're understanding. They know
Yeah.
you might have to be available for school run. You might want to go and do sports day. That's fine.
And
More
more than
flexibility.
that, they appreciate the skills of a mom because they're so amazing. It's not just, oh, yes, I'll employ a mom because I know that they need flexibility and I'll give them that flexibility. It's the flip side of that. It's, I'll employ a mom because I know that that woman is far more capable than her male counterpart, because she simply is. She is used to spinning 25 plates and doing it well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, better at obviously managing the household budget. They've got cash flow skills. She's basically master of everything,
Yeah.
because we all are.
Mistress of
We're
everything.
exactly a mistress of everything. Yes, of course. You're exactly right. Like you said, because they are creating employment, that's going back into the local economy.
Yep.
I do it. So
Yep.
like when we get paid, it's like, right, I'm not going to Amazon. We do buy things from Amazon, obviously. Everybody
We all
does.
do.
But I would much rather go down to my local
Yep.
village, have a cup of coffee in the
Yep.
female-owned tea rooms. That is like,
Absolutely.
is that what we do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I have never participated in a Black Friday event. I always use that weekend to seek out new or under marketed small businesses and promote them and buy from them and tell other people about them. And again, it's a tiny, tiny thing that I do. But
yeah,
if it's just one more person not giving it random 600 quid to Amazon for stuff that we never would have bought anyway, but is now on sale and therefore we absolutely have to have it,
yeah.
then I'm happy to be that person.
Yeah, definitely. I love buying from female brands. There's
Me too.
I'm sure you've seen the Buy Women Built community is
Yeah.
amazing. And I've tried positively to buy as many female owned brands as I can. And I
Yeah.
genuinely love it.
Yeah.
Because I know
Same.
that it's doing good. It's doing good. It's helping them. It's helping them to grow. It's helping them to scale,
Yeah.
creating more employment, adding back to the revenue. And it's just,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
No, you're dead right, and I'm gonna use a minute to give some shout outs if that's okay. The
Yeah, of
t-shirt
course.
I'm wearing right now, Morgan Le Fay, who of course was King Arthur's sister, half sister, who was a very powerful witch. This was made by a brand called Spark, and they're a female-owned t-shirt brand. Really, really cool.
I've
My
got
favorite.
loads of their t-shirts.
Yeah,
Love them.
they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous quality. They're a gorgeous brand. I'm not wearing them right now, but my favorite earring brand is Trentonic, who make hawk earrings, which are lightweight and beautiful and bold, and lots of lightning bolts, which obviously are one of my favorite things. She's again a female owned business, and she works her butt off to create really, really beautiful jewelry. I also want to talk about some of the female owned businesses that my business has invested in. You very kindly talked about my beautiful photographs at the beginning of the call, and there are two key people I need to shout out there. If you're not already following Wendy Gannon, she is the queen of photography.
Absolutely.
Photo shoots with her are on a different level. I have also had some gorgeous photo shoots with Julianne Daly. All of those supported by the fact that I dress the way that I do, as boldly and as confidently as I do, because Samantha Harmon has styled me since, basically the day I kind of stepped out of the shadows and into the light. And for those who have seen my LinkedIn, you'll notice my branding is absolutely flipping stunning because it was done by Nick Mooney, and she runs a design agency. She creates the most beautiful personal branding and graphic design assets you could imagine. All of that now, as we speak, this very minute, being used by my incredible female web developer, Maxine Yates at All Things Social, who is just putting the final finishing touches on my new website, which will be going live. Now, look, you can cut all of that from the podcast if you want, but
absolutely not.
I've
No.
done my bit now and used my platform for some really incredible people. And if you're listening, go follow them, go seek them out, because they're game changers, every single one of them.
Absolutely. I also am wearing female founded brands today. Lemonade underwear.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
love Lemonade underwear.
I
Yes,
love Lemonade 1,000%. I've not worn an underwire bra since before I was since I was pregnant with Jack, and he's 6 now.
yeah, absolutely.
It's just
Same.
no, I don't need the pain anymore.
No more underwires. Fully on board with that one.
Big super stretchy trousers from Beyond 9.
Nice. I've not got anything from Beyond 9, but I love that.
Awesome.
That's brilliant.
So comfortable, stretchy. Go with whatever time of the month it is, and you can still sit down. Love it.
Yeah, very important. Love that.
Very important. And jeans are no longer my friend.
No, jeans are a tough one, aren't they? Yeah.
No, not so much anymore.
It's another really interesting, I know it's another segue, but the way that fashion is, specifically female fashion, is created to keep us in that same box is a really interesting discussion. The fact that men can walk into a shop and buy a 32 because their waist is 32 inches, and we have to go shopping and we will be anywhere between a size 10 or a size 18, depending on which store, which line of clothing in that store, which item of clothing we're picking up. The fact that there is no standardization of clothing size, and the amount of value added or attached to different clothing sizes, i.e. if you are an 8, that is a good thing, and if you are an 18, that is a bad thing. All of this is a creation of the patriarchy. All of this is a way of controlling women. All of this is a way of ensuring that we shrink ourselves, that we stay small, that our confidence is low, and that we are wasting time and energy and money on things that mean that we're not actually controlling the wealth, that we're not building wealth in the background, that instead we are focused on the things they want us to be focused on rather than things that we need to be focused on.
That's so true. I had a Tamsin Broster, met Tamsin before.
Yeah, lovely Tamsin.
Yeah, had a really great conversation with her, and it's the first time that I've changed how I think about myself and the image that I portray and like who I am as a person. She was questioning me back on a podcast episode that we filmed a few weeks ago. And since that conversation I had with her, my husband actually said to me, "You've been different. What's changed? Why are you seem more you seem happier, more relaxed with yourself?" And I'm like, because I think my mindset's changed, because I'm not striving to be a size 8 anymore, because I'm not, in reality, that's not going to happen again. I mean, I'm mid-40s, have a child.
Why does it need to?
I haven't got time to be in the gym for 8 hours a day to get
Why
back
does it need to? Why does it need to? Like, why are we striving to be a size 8? Why was that ever a conversation? I
was trying to get back to obviously pre-baby mode, but then I look back at photos of myself on social media and I'm like, but I wasn't necessarily as happy then.
But also, why? Also, why does it matter? Why does it matter?
I don't know where.
Men aren't having this conversation. Men aren't spending their time thinking about, okay, I need to make my body smaller because that's more ideal than a bigger body. None of them are thinking that. Okay, sure, some of them are on health kicks where they're, they want to be super muscly. But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is the fact that the society has told us that a smaller body is better. And there is absolutely no reason for us to agree with that. There's no reason for us to believe that. Tamsin genuinely, again, if there are people listening who aren't following Tamsin, you have to, because she will absolutely fundamentally change the way you think about body size. The reason that we think that size 8 is better than size 18 is because men have told us so. That's the only reason. We believe that size 8 is good because of the male gaze, because men have decided that that's what's attractive, which is why there are cultures where that is not the ideal size. But Western men believe that and have taught us that smaller is better when it comes to body size. It's not about health. And I'll tell you how we know it's not about health. It's recently been proven to us that it's not about health when Serena Williams became the face of Monjaro. The fittest, most athletic woman in the world just became the face of a weight loss drug. That's how we know it's not about health. It was never about health. It was always about the acceptability of our body size to men, and that fucking disgusts me. And more than that, again, the more that we are focused on dieting, the more that we are focused on starving ourselves, the more that we are focused on absolutely killing ourselves doing more exercise, what are we not doing? Building businesses. We are not organizing. We are not starting revolutions. We are not fighting for equal rights. We are not unionizing. We are
Not
not doing all
living.
the things. Yeah. We're not changing the world because we're too busy fitting into the status quo that size 8 is a good thing. Size 8 is irrelevant. The size inside your clothing label is the least interesting thing about you.
Yeah. And you're exactly right. I've got pairs of trousers from the same brand, bought a couple of years apart, and the same sizes in the back, but there's that much difference when you hold them next to each other. And I'm like, how can
Yeah.
that be? Why does
Yeah.
one fit me better than the other? It's the same
Yeah.
size from the same place. And there's a
Because
physical
society is, we went through a body positivity moment. And what was it, like 2 years that we had full on body positivity? And so all the brands went, okay, we're going to make all of our sizes a couple of inches more generous. But now we are filtering headlong back into smaller is better. So all of the brands are going back to, no, let's make all of our sizes a couple of inches smaller, tighter, harder to get into, so that everybody's back into that smaller is better mindset.
Yeah.
And it is all bullshit and it's all about control. Yeah, please stop. There was never any reason for you to think that getting back to a size 8 was better than who you are now. You are different. You had a kid. You're a better person than you were because you had a kid. You have learned, you have grown, you have literally grown a human being inside of you.
Yeah.
Thank your body. Thank your body for what it did. Like,
Yeah,
it
I
was a
do. I thank
miracle.
it with cheese.
Perfect. Your body appreciates that.
It does. It really does. Yeah. Right. Back to business. You have a marketing and strategy business. What encouraged you to get into that? How did you wake? Did you wake up one morning and think, this is what I want to do with my life? Was it a kind of slow and steady progression from something else?
Good question. So I went to Oxford after college, and I read theology in the mindset of becoming a minister. Many people who know me will be extraordinarily shocked by that, given the way that I present myself to the world. But yeah, back when I was kind of 18, 19 years old, considering options for life, ministry felt like the thing that was right for me. Had a fucking fantastic time at Oxford. Loved it. Really. I mean, a lot of challenges being the only working class kid in a college full of, doubly privileged people, but it showed me a side of the world that I would never have gotten to see otherwise. I did go into ministry for less than a year and very quickly discovered it was not for me. So was left in a place of going, okay, right, I've got a degree that I need to do something with and no idea for a career. So what are my skills? And the main transferable skill from being in ministry seemed to be trying to convince people that they needed something that they didn't know they needed, e.g., marketing. So it felt like a pretty natural jump from convincing people they needed God to convincing people they needed whatever people were paying me to convince them they needed. And yeah, so I built a career, as I say, as a generalist in lots of different organizations. I worked in museums, in galleries, in charities, in the utilities sector, in the housing sector, in facilities management, in recruitment. And then one day kind of woke up and realized that I'd put millions on the bottom line of other organizations and gotten very little back in return. And this kind of thought niggled at me for quite a while, that I'd grown an awful lot of skills, across a lot of sectors. And I was kind of sick of, walking into organizations that really didn't value what I did. We'd moved into an age where so many people believed that marketing could be done by, the CEO's 20-year-old niece because she's on TikTok. And I was getting quite disillusioned. I was really high up in an organization at this point. I was getting very close to director level. And I just realized it wasn't what I wanted. I didn't want to be fighting for it anymore. If I was going to put money on the bottom line of a company, I wanted it to be my company. So yeah, I had a conversation with my CEO, the company was fabulous. The CEO, such a great guy, really, really supportive. He was the one that had planted the seed in my head that actually maybe going out on my own was something I could do. I handed in my notice, and then the same week I found out I was pregnant with my third child. And at that point you go, okay, well, either I can go groveling and ask for my job back. And honestly, I think they would have given it to me. Or I can knuckle down and fucking make it work. And I've always been a bit of a grafter. So I knuckled down. I knew that, there'd be no safety net, no maternity leave, no maternity pay. I knew I needed to cover my salary. And yeah, I had an absolute baseline minimum. I needed to bring in 55 grand, knowing also that part of that would be maternity leave. I did 78 in the first year. And I think it was a case of I had to, because there was no choice. It happened. And so much of what we do in business building is mindset. So much of it is about the belief that we bring to it. My very, very favorite quote is, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. This is absolutely the belief that I go into everything with. If I believe I can do it, I can do it. If I believe I can't do it, I can't do it. So in that situation, when I kind of first jumped into this, I didn't have a choice. I had to. So of course I just did.
Yeah, I think that's a really great quality that will really resonate with a lot of female business owners as well. We have to be gritty. We have to be gritty. And if we don't dig in, no one else is going to do it for us.
Absolutely. There is no fucking Prince Charming. There is no knight in shining armor. We get to be that. We get to be that for ourselves. And I just want to frame that with the fucking privilege that our generation has. We get to do this. The generation before us didn't. They really had to fight to have a mortgage, for heaven's sake. The generation before that, they weren't allowed to have a bank account. They weren't allowed to open businesses. We have a fucking incredible goddamn privilege here that we're able to open and run our own businesses and make them a success. Yeah, it's hard. It is draining. It is harder for women than it is for men. It is not a level playing field, but we get to. And the thing that is always in the back of my head is that it was easier for our generation than it was for our mothers. And my God, will it be easier for my daughter's generation? Because I'll make it. I will make it easy for her generation. That's on me. That's on me, and it's on you, and it's on every other woman listening to this. It is our job to leave a legacy for our daughters where it is easier for them.
Absolutely. Wholeheartedly agree with that. We are leading the way for the generations that are following up behind us. 1,000%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I won't be that person that pulls up the ladder behind me. So much of what our generation struggles with, from housing to education to all sorts of other things, has occurred because the generation ahead of us pulled up the ladder after they got the privilege. Our parents' generation got free education and then ended it. We're now saddled with, I think I still have £42,000 worth of student debt. Yeah, housing was affordable for them, and now they're telling us that we should eat less avocado on toast, when in reality the housing isn't there because their generation sold off the entire council housing stock. Rent is unaffordable. Houses aren't being built. We don't have the option. I will not be part of a generation that pulls up the ladder. I will be part of a generation that turns the ladder into a fucking gold staircase.
It's amazing. I love this conversation. It's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This has been gorgeous. And I really do hope that there are women listening going, or who started off listening to this podcast going, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if building a business is possible. I don't know, if I can make this work when I've got kids and responsibilities. And I hope that you've listened to this and come out the other end knowing not just that you can, but you must. Not just that it's possible, but it's fully within your gift.
Yeah.
Not that it's easy, but that you, as a woman, especially if you're a mum, but as a woman, are so well placed to do this. You're so talented and you're so capable, and the support is there. Come and join a community of fabulous women. There are so many out there, because we'll have you back.
Absolutely. And everybody that you mentioned earlier in your social
Exactly.
media, Samantha Harmon, Wendy Gannon,
Yeah.
Tamsin,
Tamsin. Yeah.
everybody's LinkedIn feed literally brightens up my screen every morning.
Yeah.
And it's a joy to see you all thriving. So well done to all of you.
And you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm far less bright and shiny than you.
Oh, don't be silly. Absolutely
No,
not.
it's been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Gorgeous. Thank you.
We'll stop